Well, hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to our very first owner gathering of 2022. Look, I can't believe it. We're already past the first quarter of this year. In a moment, I'm going to share with you all the amazing things that the Lord is doing in and through you. But first, let me kind of lay a little bit of a backdrop. Maybe for you, an owner gathering like we're doing virtually right here is new to you. Well, what we started last year in 2021, we just said, you know what, if owners of the vision of Lifepointe are the ones that are pouring into the church the most, then 3 times a year, we want to just get the owners together. So the first time of the year is going to be just like this. This is going to be sort of state of the church. If you love numbers, if you love business, analytics, then you're going to love this video. And then last year we got together and we did an owner's night of worship and vision and teaching. We did that back in September of last year, and we had food trucks, and it was just an incredible time where we as a staff were able to pour back into you, the owners, and really the backbone of Lifepointe. And so we're gonna be doing that again coming up in September of this year. And then the third gathering of the year is just something fun. So last December, we rented out a bowling alley, and literally for like 3-4 hours, we just bowled as families. It was free for you. And that was just an appreciation event where we were able to say thank you so much for giving, serving, being in a group, praying for the ministry. And that's what ownership is. And I'll be honest with you, I love the culture that we create here at Lifepointe. Very intentional. We don't want to create a country club of members, right? Because members have rights, but rather we want responsibility. That's ownership. Owners say, man, this is my church, my vision, my city, my family, my lostness in my neighborhood. And so I want to be the hands and feet of Jesus, living on mission with him. And so we just say, we want to pour back into you. And so today, through this video, we get to give you this update. Now, like I mentioned, this is going to kind of be a little bit of state of the church. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time celebrating 2021. However, if you have not received our annual report, we just recently released that. We shared a video on a Sunday. It went out through email. However, just in case you missed any of that, it lives on our website. Literally, just go to the Give tab. You're going to see it. And that's important for you as an owner to know, especially from a financial standpoint, how we steward every dollar that comes in. I always say that you don't give to Lifepointe, you give through Lifepointe. And man, we hold that as a sacred honor, and we want to financially be transparent and show you the impact of every dollar that you give. So make sure 2021 annual review, you go to our website. So today, to kind of get this kicked off, I want to send it over to our executive pastor, Gary Heidig, as he breaks down a little bit of our 2022 budget and the giving that we've experienced so far in Q1.
Yeah, thanks, Nate. As you had asked me to talk a little bit about the church budget in 2022, obviously there's a lot of stuff that we could talk about. The first one being just a little bit of a wrap up as far as where we're at right now with the end of the year offering last year. If you guys recall, we called that the Heart to the House offering. And during that, there was $390,000 of pledges, which is just mind-blowing and awesome. And as of this video shoot right now, which we're not quite done with the first quarter, so we haven't reconciled all that yet, but we're at $373,000 given. And again, I think we should applaud ourselves. Just great, thank you. That is tremendous follow-up in the giving world, in the pledges world. So thank you for that. It'll wrap up sometime mid-April, so you've got a little bit of time. And if you are interested in pledging or knowing more about that, feel free to email me anytime. You can find my information on the website, or it's just easy, Gary@lifepointecc.com. The second thing would be get into the general budget for the year. So the way we operate, we have a finance team who makes recommendations, and then the elder team, which is consisted of lay members and a couple of staff. They're the ones who actually approve any kind of indebtedness, land purchases, budgets, etc. So for the year, we had approved a budget of $2,154,000 for the year, and that equals $41,438 a week in need. So the next thing you'd probably want to know is, okay, so how are we doing? We're doing really good. So far this year, with a need of $41,438, we are currently at $44,976 in giving, which again, that's awesome. So many things that we're able to do with that money. A few weeks ago, for instance, Nate was able to stand on the stage and say that We had $10,000 that we're going to give to the Ukraine family, and we don't have to do a special offering. That money is already there because of the amount that's coming in over. We put some in emergency fund, we keep some in our savings. The number of $41,438 need, that's all in. That's counting any kind of a mortgage payment, everything we do each week. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was just ways to give. If you're here on a Sunday at the church building, on your way out, there are boxes on the wall that you can drop your check in, but also online. You can go online and do it through our website. You can download the Lifepointe app. But I'll tell you, one of the best ways to do it is do it through your bank, through bill pay. Because there is fees attached when you give online for all platforms except through your local bank. They automatically cut a check, it's mailed to the church, and there's no fees attached to that. So I hope that's helpful. And fill in a little bit, as I said before, always feel free to email me, Gary@lifepointecc.com, if you want any more information or have questions.
Hey, thanks a lot, Gary. Appreciate that. And I tell you, church, we really are blessed to have an executive pastor like Gary, such an amazing man of God. And you know what's really cool, as Gary was just kind of sharing some financial numbers of what the Lord is doing, I want you to know that every dollar is helping impact a person, right? Like we need to personalize our generosity, and it really does equal life change. Can I just share with you, in the last 3 months, here's the life change that some of that financial giving has allowed us to be able to do. So just check this out. In the last 3 months, we've seen 86 first-time guest families who've actually filled out a card. 86 first-time guest families that told us, hey, this is my first time, which we know. You probably attended, maybe your first time you didn't fill out a card. We're seeing way more than that week in and week out. We've seen 2 people give their life to Christ in the first 3 months. 121 next steps were taken. We added 48 brand new owners of the vision. They went through our Discover Lifepointe event. We're averaging 1,130 people on a Sunday morning, which I'm gonna talk about that in a moment and how we're gonna address the incredible growth that we're experiencing. Our Discovery Point, to me, this is maybe one of the most key numbers. Our Discovery Point Kids Ministry and our Lifepointe students averages 316 students and kids every single weekend. Y'all, that's a small church, 316. I love the multi-generational experience that we have as a church, and your generosity is helping facilitate that. I also love that we have Pastor Bob, our life groups and care pastor, share with me. We have over 100 adults that are currently going right now through the Full Life Growth Track. And I can't iterate that enough. If you've never gone through Lifepointe's Full Life Growth Track, commit to do it this year. Life groups are doing it. We're also offering it on different nights of the week as well. If you're interested, we'll figure out a way that you can let us know. But go through the Full Life Growth Track. It really is one of the key discipleship pieces that we do at Lifepointe that makes our vision of people helping people discover full life in Jesus. It takes that vision and helps it come to life. I'll tell you what though, these next steps are incredible. This is a direct impact, but again, when you give, it not only helps our community, our country, but even things that we're doing literally around the world. So to share with you an update on what God is doing through you from a missions viewpoint, I want to hand it over to our multiplication pastor, Pastor Chris, for that update.
Hey Lifepointe, Pastor Chris here. Super excited to get to share with you a little bit about what's going on and how your generosity is making a huge difference and what we're doing here in the city, what we're doing around the world, and even in our efforts with church planning. So let me just share a couple of things as it relates to what's happening. Typically the first quarter is a quarter where we're doing a whole lot of preparations for the year because we do a lot of stuff. They usually summer-oriented type stuff like internships and our partnerships with the churches and all the missions trips and all the things that we do throughout the year. However, this month has actually been really, really cool these past 3 months because we have been able to actually do some really cool stuff and some of them kind of spontaneously. So I want to share some of that with you, but let me first cast a big picture about what we do at Lifepointe and how we do it and why we do it, just as a reminder if you're new to this. So first of all, we kind of made a decision, let's focus our energy into a couple of places and let's do those things really well. So rather than trying to do everything and doing nothing well, let's focus. And so we made a commitment that what we think that we bring to the table, that where we can really put our energies is going to be around the areas of church planting and anything that's kind of child related. or children focused. So that doesn't mean that we're not doing anything else, but the way that we do the other things or allow other people to do the other things is through life groups. So all of our life groups have the ability to serve where they feel most passionate, and we encourage them to do it and can assist and help give them resources that point them in the right direction to do what they feel they could do. So that's our goal. Life groups do whatever they want to do. We as a church focus. Let me give you the specifics of kind of what's happened over the last 3 months, some really cool stuff that's happening. So we are preparing to go to Honduras again. We have a partnership there that we've had for many, many years that working with a lot of the kids in that area, doing orphanages, and there's some child rescue stuff that we're a part of, and also connecting with pastors there, church planning, and getting them to collaborate for the good of their city. And so we're doing that. We have 3 trips. It'll be the largest amount of people we've ever taken to Honduras. Will be this summer. Super excited about that. We actually, 2 of our weeks are completely full, overflowing, but we have 1 week early in the month, June 4th through the 11th, where we still need people. So if you're interested in going, like to be a part of that, email me, chris@lifepointecc.com. I'd love to get you connected. We're gonna be doing some really, really cool stuff there. But here's what we did this past quarter. It was really awesome. So they were bringing a lot of the pastors together, their wives and their kids, and we just wanted to bless them and to serve them and to give them resources and to just help in any way that we could. Collaboration there is something kind of new to them. And so we love being a part of helping churches to collaborate. So Pastor Emily and one of our counselors here in the church that does counseling, Rachel Yunt, both of them went over and really loved on the pastors' wives, did some stuff for the kids, and really encouraged them and did a lot of just support and helping those pastors and their wives really get loved on and blessed as they've been having a really difficult time. So that was really cool. We got to do that this quarter. Also, we're planning, and we have a great summer internship like always, and all that's going on. So one of the things that popped up that we're super, super excited about that came out of a need, and it's just why I love this church so much, is that we were able to, on a dime, turn and really put some energy towards Ukraine. There's a big need there. We have some families that are here in the church that are connected to Ukraine. And so we collected an insane amount of stuff. And we've blessed some of the families and committed over $10,000 to go to helping with some of the relief efforts, especially as it relates to people coming over here. So it's just really, really cool that on the spur of the moment, because of your generosity, we're even in a position to do that. So that was a fun thing that we just did, and we accomplished all that in about a 2 to 3 week period and was able to do it. We are planning, thinking this is going to be the biggest Easter extravaganza we've ever done. If you don't know what that is, it's one of the coolest things that we've done here at Lifepointe. So we put on this the largest Easter egg hunt in the area is done at Walter Elijah Park, and we're doing it again this year. And this year, we're taking a step forward. As you know, we're really working and striving to collaborate and work with other churches and make a difference in our city. And this year, Forest Hill is joining us and being a part of that process, and super excited about that. So now 2 churches are working together, collaborating to do this event together. The last thing I want to save that's a really, really cool thing. So at the end of the year last year, you guys were super generous, and we do this end of the year offering. We told you that one of the things that we want to do with the end of the year offering was we want to work together to do a church planting network. And that is churches collaborating and working together to plant churches in our area, specifically identifying pockets of where there's a need for a church. And so we have now, because of your generosity, we're able to start that process. And we have identified and have had some meetings with some of the local churches and working together to begin the conversation of how can we collaborate specifically to plant churches in our area. And so that is in process, and we have 5 churches that are on board with that right now. And that's going to be, we're in the development process of that. Super excited to be able to share with you in the future what that's going to look like. But I think when I talk about that, and I talk about Ukraine, and I talk about Honduras, and all the stuff that we're doing there, the extravaganza, our partnerships, all the things that we're doing, I don't want it to be missed that is made possible by your generosity. I mean, I love this church, and one of my favorite things about being a part of Lifepointe has been, hey, let's do crazy stuff. Why don't we collaborate? And I love the daring nature of the church, the willingness to have partnerships globally, stuff in the city, giving back, helping out single moms, all of that stuff. But none of that can happen outside of the generosity of the people that are here. And when I say generosity, well, I'm not talking about just financial, but your willingness to bring stuff and to be here and to serve and to do those things and to be willing to go to Honduras. I mean, those are the things that your generosity of your time, your resources, and your energy, and your support week in and week out to make this stuff happen. So thank you, Lifepointe, for your generosity.
Man, I'll tell you what, in a lot of ways, quarter one, for me personally, has far exceeded the expectations I think that I had going into this year, especially with all the uncertainty of the last 2 years with COVID and resurgence and all those things. It's just been, it's been amazing. And as you come on Sunday, you feel it. You see the growth that we're experiencing. And I say that because I know we have a lot of newer families, and maybe you're newer to ownership at Lifepointe. And one of the questions we get quite a bit is, who's on staff at Lifepointe, right? And so there's a couple ways that we mainstream that. Again, if you want to see who's on staff, as a church, we've decided we're just going to post all that on our website. So I'm going to always push you back to that. There's a staffing button that you can click, read about some of the bios. But what I want to do is also talk about our eldership. At Lifepointe, you might wonder about our governance or our structure. You may already know this, but it's always good to be reminded that Lifepointe is a staff-led, elder-advised church. It means that we have currently 5 lay elders who really serve as the guardrails. They protect vision, culture, finances. They're my boss. I'm held accountable to them. I love that about our church. And if you don't know who our elders are, let me just share their names and you're gonna see a picture pop up. John Hatcher is a current elder, Michael Sherrill, Craig Cox, Jay Kell, and then Gary Heidick and myself are 2 staff elders. And these men love you, pray for you. They are big faith believers pushing the vision forward. And man, we are so blessed to be led by a great team of lay elders. But I want to send it back to Gary one more time as our executive pastor to share a few staffing updates of some new staff that have rolled recently onto the team. So Gary, why don't you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, thanks, Nate. So talking about some staffing updates, some staffing changes, there is a lot going on at Lifepointe. It's like any other organization. We have some people come and go, but I'll say in some instances it can be really awkward because you kind of don't know what to say if someone's leaving under some bad circumstances or even had to be let go. But in our case, that's not the case at all. People who are moving around, some of them, as you'll hear in a minute, I'll explain, are moving around inside of an organization. We always want to be watching and seeing who can move where and help them with their career advancement. And other ones have just seen an opportunity that makes sense. So it's that bittersweet thing. You know, you hate seeing someone go, but you understand. So the first one was Harry Bell. Harry Bell had been on staff for 4 years. He came on way back when we built phase 1. We really didn't have a facilities director. It was kind of myself and some volunteers, and we were trying to take care of things. But we knew early on when we built the building that there was so much going on. Plus, want to be good stewards of something that we built, that people gave their good hard-earned money towards. So Harry came on 4 years ago, did a great job, helped create something from nothing, and had a well-oiled machine. Well, he had an opportunity to move to be a assistant general manager at a tennis club in Charlotte. So I don't blame him for taking a move. Good move for him, happy for him. And in the last year, we had brought on an assistant facilities director. Her name was Lisa Bartlett. And that was to help Harry out through the week with events in the evening, so he wasn't having to work all the time. Plus, he takes vacation, who's here on a Sunday? So she stepped in, she learned that role, she did it well. So when Harry was leaving, talked to her, interviewed with her, put the word out to other people in church, but she just seemed like the person that just a perfect match. Well, Lisa's doing great. She has stepped up, she has completely taken over that role, doing a great job. So that was one of the first staffing changes we did. Another one that a lot of you are aware of, we announced this also, was Steve Fuentes, who was on staff for 7 years. Steve's one of those guys, when he first came to Lifepointe, I think 7.5 years ago, he just jumped right in and started serving. And it was just a natural fit to ask him to be our first impressions director, part-time. And again, someone who just took something, ran with it, created something, and did a phenomenal job with it. Some of you know he is also a full-time realtor. So he's kind of figured some stuff out, what direction he wants to go, still involved in ministry. By the way, everyone I'm talking about today is still involved at Lifepointe. They're serving, they're coming on Sundays, still friends with them. So that's always a good sign. So he told me he was moving on, and we put the word out among staff first, then we put it out among the church looking, and our Next Steps director, Gina, had come to me and said, hey, I was a young lady who is volunteering, again, another person that's volunteering, and she's great. She's helped me out in the Next Steps, data input and all kinds of stuff. She said, you need to talk to her. So I set up a phone call with her. Her name is Beth Coble, and she's self-employed, but she was looking for some more hours. So next thing you know, she's a perfect fit, we thought. So we hired her. She has come on, and again, just able to take it and run with it. Doing a phenomenal job. There's a lot going on in First Impressions. That is one of our largest ministries. A lot going on every week. So she's doing great. So again, bittersweet that Steve would step aside, but I see him every week. You guys see him on Sundays. That's awesome. Another one that you already know about, but I want to fill you in, is that Ridge Thomas, our student pastor, had transitioned from just being student pastor to student pastor and online campus pastor. And then Caleb Roop, who was volunteering as the middle school Spark director on Sundays, talk about something that's just going great, blowing up, good things happening, kids getting involved. You're seeing some kids really dig into their faith. We brought Caleb on part-time, and then Ashley Karsten, hang with me here guys, it gets a little wonky here. Ashley Karsten, our communications director, was also part-time Discovery Point director. She stayed doing that. She transitioned. She now is on the preschool staff. And then Ridge has moved to communications director and online campus pastor. So I hope that all makes sense. So great transitions there. Things are going good. Excited about those changes and moving forward. And then Caleb, which you already announced, and you saw Caleb get on stage during the Soup Bowl of preaching not too long ago and did a phenomenal job. Held his own up there. He is in a one-year student ministry internship, and that'll help us fill that gap while we're looking for a full-time replacement for the student ministry pastor. So there's a lot going on there. I was hoping to get that out without making it too confusing. Hope that made sense. Great things happening. Excited to keep seeing what's coming next and working with the folks we've got.
Well, I really hope that this Owners Gathering video, State of the Church, has been really insightful for you. Hopefully it's been helpful. Hopefully it reminds you of why you get up early in the morning on Sundays and you serve, why you open up your home, you lead a life group, why you hold a door, clean a bathroom, run a camera. I hope it's a reminder of the amazing things that we get to be a part of when we leverage our time, talents, and treasures to serve the Lord through the body of Christ. It's incredible. So before we close, as an owner of the vision, I want to invite you to pray along with me, our staff, and our elder team, specifically in 3 areas. Would you do this? Would you commit over the next month? I'm going to pray over these 3 things. The first is this. I'm excited to tell you that we are starting a 3rd service. So let's talk about this. You've noticed the growth on a Sunday morning. Both services are pretty maxed out. We're hitting that 80% capacity rule, which in the church world, once it's 80%, it feels like 100%. Before I tell you when we're gonna do it, I just wanna make sure that we understand, honestly, the incredible things that God's doing through this. So now that we're 2 years since COVID first hit, there is really good data and analytics that's coming out nationwide amongst churches. Here's some things that all the church analysts are reporting. Only 5% of churches in America are either back to their pre-COVID numbers or growing again. So just think about that. Only 5% are back to where they were 2 years ago or growing. The largest group, 40 to 50, 40 to 60%, are somewhere between 50 to 60% of pre-COVID numbers. And then you've got about 15% of churches in America that are on life support. Not really sure what's gonna take place. I'm only telling you that because for whatever reason, we are finding ourselves in that 5%, where we're not just back, but we're actually experiencing growth. And I think God wants every church to grow. I don't think Lifepointe's special. I don't think God loves us more than the other bride of Christ down the street. But here's why I bring that up. I think we need to steward this well. God's doing something. Let's not take this for granted. Let's steward what the Lord is doing. So if you're watching this and you're not serving, maybe you took a sabbatical, you took some time off, maybe you just recently started attending since COVID and you just haven't jumped on a serve team yet. I don't know what your reasoning is. Maybe if you're not on a team, join a team, serve. Let's get ready, let's pray, let's have a spirit of expectation when we show up. Let's invite people. God is truly doing something, and I think how we steward this moment will speak a lot about the future of our church. So with that, we're gonna just continue to make room and open up seating capacities. So we're gonna be starting a third service on August the 14th. Now, you might be wondering, why are you telling me this soon in advance? Why are we waiting so long? There's several factors into why we're waiting to August the 14th. The main one, honestly, is we care about the health of our volunteers. You know, we call them impact leaders. And so we got to build teams. So we're going to say, you know what, from the back end of spring all the way through summer, we're going to build teams. And then August the 14th, as people come back from summer, as school year starts, we're going to launch that third service no matter what, with expectation that God's going to fill it. So how can you help us in that? There's two very simple things. The 9:30 service, it's always been the most attractive. So go to the 11:15 if you're an empty nester, or maybe you don't have quite young kids. So families with young kids, that 9:30 is a real good option for them. So maybe you say, you know what, until we launch the third, we're just gonna go 11:15. And of course, second thing that you can do is join a team as well. So August the 14th, we've got some answers, you know, some things are gonna be taking place. We're excited about that, but be in prayer for that third service starting, and then also be a part of it too with your action. Number two, this year as an elder team, it's a year of discovery. And so we're praying about what's next, and we want you to join us with that. We're praying about phase 3. You may not know it, but this property has an option to build an auditorium. So we're praying about, man, when would we do that? We're also praying about, would we start a second campus, a multi-site, potentially in Rock Hill? The Rock Hill zip code is the second largest zip code that attends Lifepointe. We're also praying about the farmer's land behind our property, that one day, if they were to sell that property, what would it look like for Lifepointe to be able to buy it and use that for rec fields and maybe build a gym on it, partner with the town of Fort Mill. So we've got some big God-sized dreams that I'm inviting you just to pray and say, all right, Lord, give us wisdom and give us insight. And then the third thing I want you to be praying for is Easter at Lifepointe. Y'all, I'm so excited about this. You already know, April 17th, 4 identical services, 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. I want you to already start asking, Holy Spirit, who do I need to bring with me? What friend, what family member can I bring with me on Easter at Lifepointe? And then the second way that you can help us on Easter is, you know, attend one of the Saturday nights. My suspicion says Sunday morning is going to be that prime time where we want to make room for the most guests. So maybe you pick one of the Saturday night services as well. And even better, serve one, sit one, and join a team. So again, those 3 things, pray big, pray audacious prayers with us. We're starting a third service in August. This is a year of discovery for our church, and then Easter is around the corner. And man, we know what the Lord does in the power of a moment. And I'm already believing in faith that people are going to cross the line from spiritual death to life as we celebrate the greatest event in human history, the resurrection of Jesus. So again, thanks so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us in prayer. If you have any questions, please let us know. And from the bottom of my heart, my wife, our whole staff, thank you for owning the vision.